What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, and here are some upside plays that I think can really help you win some fantasy championships in 2024, because that's what it's about, right? Trying to find some value, some guys that could really hit the jackpot, really be that lottery ticket to a fantasy championship, and I think these names are some that you should be drafting. So without further ado, let's get to the guys on my list. Here are 8 upside fantasy plays for 2024. Let's kick things off on our list with number 8, Brock Bowers, tight end of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Brock Bowers' versatility is what makes him so intriguing. Also, his cost. He is going currently somewhere on the 10th or 11th tight end off the board. So if you're going late tight end or if you're in a 10-team league, Brock Bowers could surprise you. Yeah, Gardner Minshew's probably going to see the majority of snaps at quarterback this year for the Raiders, and I know that can kind of bum you out. But let's keep in mind how great Brock Bowers was at Georgia. His coach said that he was the best athlete on the team. He would have been not only the best tight end, but also the best running back. And when Nick Saban was asked who was the guy that was hardest to defend against, he said, Brock Bowers, quote, "That guy is a problem," end quote. So Brock Bowers probably is going to be better than people realize in his rookie season, despite the fact he might have some lower expectations and projections. Look for Brock Bowers to play in the slot, maybe some H-back, and again, his versatility is what's going to make him on the field more and possibly a bigger asset with some big upside in 2024. Coming in at number 7 on our list, Xavier Worthy, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver. This guy turned a lot of heads when they were trying to watch him run the 40 at the Combine this year as he set a record, but it's not just the speed that's intriguing when it comes to Xavier Worthy. He was a solid wide receiver at Texas who now finds himself playing with the best quarterback in the NFL and Patrick Mahomes, looking to bounce back from a down 2023 season. Going back just to 2022, Patrick Mahomes had 5,000 yards, so if Xavier Worthy can prove, as he has in small sample sizes this preseason, he can be an asset to this offense, Patrick Mahomes will continue to find confidence in the young wide receiver and continue to find some targets. Is he the next Tyreek Hill? Probably not, but is he a guy that can outperform expectations and potentially give you some high upside weeks and a high upside season? The answer to that question is undoubtedly hell yeah. Next on our list at number 6, Chase Brown, running back of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm just betting on talent here. I know the Bengals brought in Zach Moss this offseason, but I look at Chase Brown as clearly the better talent. Among 77 backs with at least 40 carries last year, Brown ranked 12th in yards after contact per attempt and 16th in missed tackles forced per attempt. That bodes well for him even if the Cincinnati Bengals do end up being a more pass-heavy offense, which, let's face it, with Joe Burrow healthy is more likely to happen. I'm just not buying Zach Moss as true competition for him over the long haul. Sure, Zach Moss might get some early work in September, but I think it's only a matter of time till Chase Brown emerges as the true star in the backfield. Zach Moss was good last year out of nowhere in a Shane Steichen offense with the Colts that was really good at running the football, but when you go back and look at what he did, or should I say didn't do in Buffalo, he is not a thrilling fantasy option. So Chase Brown has the upside to end up being an RB2 and maybe even more if this offense really takes off and he takes over as the lead back sooner than later. Number 5, my biggest mover in the preseason, Jaylen Wright, Miami Dolphins running back. There's a world where we know Raheem Mostert is 32 years old and Devon Achane has had some issues staying healthy so far in his young NFL career. Both of those backs are going clearly way higher than Jaylen Wright. But the more tape you watch of Jaylen Wright, the more you watch him in the preseason, the more excited I am to draft him, because I look at a situation where at some point, this guy's going to get more work than people realize. There could be 1, even 2 injuries ahead of him, or maybe just Jaylen Wright starts to emerge as a 21-year-old back who can be leaned on in big-time situations. We know there's touchdown equity to be had in this Miami Dolphins high-octane, high-efficiency offense, and Jaylen Wright over time can certainly end up becoming a huge upside play. He ranked 5th in yards after contact per attempt and 13 in elusive rating, and is only 1 domino away from becoming one of the best running backs in fantasy. That's right, imagine if the seas parted and Jaylen Wright became the RB1 in Miami. Ooh-wee, that's an exciting thing to see, but it might take some time. The upside, however, is very real. Let's take a quick break from the fantasy upside plays to tell you about Fantasy Sports Knockout. Think you've got fantasy football figured out? Think again. Introducing Knockout, a new Survivor fantasy league that's worth the challenge. A season-long tournament where every week matters. Strategize, draft, survive. High effort with even higher stakes, because who likes losing? Draft your lineup, use any players you want, but be careful, you can only use each player once. The lowest scoring entry is eliminated each week. The concept is simple, survival is not. Stop losing, start surviving in the only league where skills are tested and strategy, well, it's gonna pay off. Go sign up and check it out for yourself today. Fantasy Sports Knockout is available at play.fantasysportsknockout.com/FP2024. That's play.fantasysportsknockout.com/FP2024. Number 4, let's do another running back here, Zamir White of the Las Vegas Raiders. Not one, but 2 Raiders on this list. Everybody who's been watching the videos of Fantasy Pros knows how much I love Zamir White. He's a Georgia Bulldog from an RB factory. He looked really good at the end of last year. You know Antonio Pierce is going to want to run the football. And for some reason, the ADP just isn't climbing. And I don't know why. There's no real competition for him. He's the 3-down back. He's the guy. He could easily finish as the top 10 running back this year. And he's being drafted basically as a top 20 running back. That to me is absurd. Zamir White has the clearest path of any of the guys so far to really become a true big-time fantasy upside play. Of all the guys on this list so far, that is the one, especially at running back, that I think is the safest, clearest path to being what we look for, which is guys who outperform their ADP. So draft Zamir White, enjoy the floor that I think is pretty high, and look for the upside that I think people are ignoring. Come on now, you know it wouldn't be a Joey P list if we didn't talk about number 3, Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers. He is the best talent at wide receiver on the Green Bay Packers. He has a quarterback in Jordan Love that was incredible last season. In his last 8 games, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that was without much of a run game working and without Christian Watson healthy on the field. If Jordan Love and Christian Watson can get together and stay healthy for a whole season, Christian Watson could end up as a wide receiver 1. That's right, I said it, and currently he's being drafted as a wide receiver 40. It's all upside from here, and this dynamic playmaker with big play ability is going to be coveted in drafts wherever you have smart people drafting. So the question is, are you smart enough to take Christian Watson and enjoy all the upside? Hopefully after this video, that answer is yes. Number 2, Washington Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels. Daniels already has the starting gig, so it's wheels up. Let's go from week 1, and you should be excited about the rushing equity this player brings. He could easily finish as a top 7 or even top 5 QB because of that rushing equity and rushing touchdown ability that he brings. Not to mention, he's got some help around him. Eckler, Brian Robinson Jr., Terry McLaurin. These are some weapons to actually work with for the rookie in a situation with a head coach who's not in his first rodeo in Dan Quinn. I like Jayden Daniels a ton this year in single quarterback leagues, and I love him in Superflex as my second quarterback. If you could somehow nab him, ooh-wee, what a start. But Jayden Daniels is that guy that could certainly well outperform, and if you are somebody that wants to fade QBs in single quarterback formats, this is the upside play. This is the roll of the dice on a guy that's not going to cost you much, and if it fails, you could always end up drafting or picking up off the waiver wire a veteran QB that can give you QB 14 play and still get by. It's nothing but upside for Jayden Daniels in 2024. And lastly, the number 1 upside play on our list this year, Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts quarterback. Anthony Richardson was such a tease in 2023. Oh my goodness. Someone that big, that strong, that fast, putting up that many fantasy points. That's something I want to be a part of. Sure, there's some risk here. Of course there is. He did not play a full season. He is still a little raw in terms of tools, but I'm going to trust the coach here, trust the process, trust the environment. And I firmly believe that Shane Steichen is exactly the right guy who can help get Anthony Richardson to the promised land. And even though his ADP is basically QB 5 or 6 off the board, the upside truly is he could be the QB1 when all is said and done. He's going to be cheaper than the very super elite tier quarterbacks, but he has the ability to perform just like them, if not better than some of them. So Anthony Richardson's upside is enormous, and I, for one, have some shares because I want to ride that roller coaster all the way to a fantasy football championship, and I think you should be purchasing a ticket to ride the Richardson Express in 2024. There you have it, everybody. Those are my favorite upside plays for 2024, but I want to hear from you. Drop your comments below. Tell me who your favorite upside players are, and we can have a fun conversation here in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe, because Fantasy Pros is here to help you all season long win all of your fantasy championships, whether it's the podcast, the videos, the live streams. We're going to be here from you all season long, so don't worry about it. We got you covered. Stick with the pros. That'll do it for me, Joey P. You've got a lot of upside, too. I'll see you next time, kids.